Hey guys, this is Dom with Pie for Life Games. I'm here with John Wilkin, who just got top 64 at the 250th YCS.
Yes, sir.
So how was your tournament experience?
It was amazing. I had a blast. It was nice seeing everybody. It was a little iffy with the Ash Blossoms here and there, but all in all, a great event. I just wanted to come here and top, and it worked out. So yeah.
Awesome. And what deck did you play?
Well, I think Despiel.
Everybody knows by this point.
So yeah, I'll just explain the ratios real quick. So it's the same ratios for the engine monsters that I played at Vegas. So the reason why I like these ratios and kind of why you have to play it. There's one small deviation you can do, but other than that, you kind of have to play this is because of the fact that you want to search these. Or see these, but also search these, and see this, search these, and see this sometimes, but not too much. And also, it's an engine requirement. It's really weird, but any imbalancing, multiples of these, multiples of these, multiples of these, one of this makes your hands kind of weird. I found I did a bunch of test hands with those cards, with multiple Mercuriers, less Cartesia. I'm like, oh, I'm not seeing this card as much. Oh, I'm seeing Mercurier too much. I think that these are just the correct numbers. The only thing that I think would be a reasonable deviation would be to add a third Albaz, which I sided the third, and I think it definitely could be in the main deck, so that is an option, but the rest I think should stay the same.
Okay.
So the one Lebellion, the one Saronir. Again, Bestials are terrible this format. This is only good, the management effect is only good in the mirror match, really. And it's you kind of have to play it just so that Gungnul can Gungnul can dump this to make Cartesia plus an access to this fusion, because you can dump Retribution and Fusion, so that's why you kind of need it. I guess also to search off the Bellion, so that's why it's there for. It's not really that great. That's why it's a very minimal engine.
Okay.
So I made it the Gimmick Puppet.
How was this weekend?
Fantastic. Oh my god. The amount of times that it was 3. But the amount of times every time I did it, game 1, it was just fantastic. I love just being able to win on the spot. I was like what deck is outing a game 1 Gimmick Puppet?
Not very many.
Maybe Labyrinth, but even then I'd probably have Brandon and Red Set, so I can just pop a stuff in the end phase and go for a more resourceful play and just win. Yeah, so definitely love that in the main. So I still play Dark Magician. So yeah, I just love Dragoon. It allows for utility against Cash. I'll explain a little bit more about that later, but I think the best part about this was when against Sword Soul, one of my rounds, I had Mirror Jade Albion, and I topped. He was at full, and I could swing for however many, and I topped deck Fusion Up Limit, and I went Fusion Up Limit for Dark Magician to swing for exact game. I think that was probably the craziest thing I did this weekend. So Dark Magician won me a game, just itself. 3 Ash, 3 Imperm, and a Nib. So I was playing this. The 3 Nibs, but I switched to the Imperms just because of the fact that not every deck is going to be playing into Nib, and it's important that the cards in the main deck have a broad utility. That's kind of the point of them, and I felt that Imperm literally just affects every single deck because then it gets a monster effect. Every deck plays monsters, that's how you win. I guess we're ruining it, but even then, you can still hit the thing. Labyrinth, you can still hit it. So even the trapped and spell decks are using monsters. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna play this card. And I found that a lot of the time as well, the Despia stuff can out the engine and can out the boards anyways. So it helps you crack boards really well, whereas Nib just stops them completely and is a little bit prone to playing well, because if they play around the Nib or do certain actions that play through Nib really well, it can get kind of iffy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The usual.
Yeah, pretty self-explanatory. I don't really need to go into detail about this. I don't think you probably won't see another branded deck with a different ratio. Maybe 2 opening, but whatever. 3 Fusion Opponent, one of the best cards in my deck. It's just What I love about this card is the utility for this or this. Just being able to summon this from your deck is just so fantastic because, like, one of the issue that this deck has, especially, is that it's a fusion deck with only one fusion, other than Brandon, and so you need to have a bit of follow up in case like it goes wrong, which is the issue. Why this deck loses to Ash so hard is that you kind of have this one pivot point that you need to resolve. But if you have this, going second, you can get this, which gets you into a Mirror Jade potentially, like Albaz and a Mirror Jade. And then going first, you can have Cartesia, which gets you the Gungnal. So you can still get that Brandon red setup for follow-up and, interruptions while, being able to have your Brandon Fusion Ash. So I really like that.
Okay.
And then consistency, Gold Sark Foolish. Yeah. One of the best cards in my deck, probably number 3 next to Deployment and Fusion. Crossout, yeah. This is basically Crossout. About the same, actually. They have their own utility. The amount of times where I would, be able to just, go, second with this card as well is just fantastic. Because you can hit, the 2 targets are really, Imperm Ash. And, the fact that you can just use it and blow your opponent so easily through Rise Heart, that's what I was trying to say, through Rise Heart, that it means that you lose a lot less to cash than you may think, and it makes the matchup a lot better, I found. If I drew this against cash, I won, straight up. Unless I just had a bad hand, but if I have this plus, Fusion, then I just win against the cash board. Okay. There's one time, I think round 2, I played the Mirror, and game 1, he puppets me. Well, tries to. He has Dragoon, I nib to bait out the last card in hand, and then he goes Expulsion. And then when he expulsions, I chain Crossout for the Expulsion game 1.
That's pretty good.
That was nasty. Yeah, that was pretty insane.
40 card main deck?
42.
42?
So, actually, I'll explain why I did 42. So, I found that I had problems with side decking, just with ratios and stuff. And I was like, okay, I'm going to decrease consistency a little bit, but allow me to have those cards, keep some cards in the main deck, and not have to side it out. Because a lot of the time you have to side out kind of engine pieces and, ad lib, opening, the bestials, and if you want to keep some of those in just to have a better grind game and more options, then that's what this allows you to do. Yeah. So these are the 2-0s. So this is what I was explaining earlier about the utility versus cash. So basically, the change I made from Vegas is this was Sprint last time, but I realized that Dragoon isn't really good versus a Rise Heart Pass, is what most people are going for. And so if they looked at my extra, they would just rip them, and then, it would not be that great. So I'd rather just have the second one to be able to have that option against cash in case it is the correct way to go at that time. So I definitely like the second. It never really came up to this event, but it definitely came up in testing, and I for sure will stick with that. This extra deck I think is perfect. The 1 Chimera, Gungnal, Queritus, Sepelia, Brigand. Yeah, I switched to Queritus for this event. Didn't come up, but I think I might just stick with it just because of the fact that it can get you... It makes Gungnal able to access your engine, which is really nice because there's times when, you aren't able to get that recursion, especially when you're under something like an Arise Heart where there's lots of banishing and stuff. So that's definitely a good option. I think it's better than Preskynian.
Okay.
So for the side, I played the 3rd Albaz. So the reason why is because I found that I don't want 3 because going first is having 3 Albaz in your deck isn't as great, but going second it's fantastic because you really want to see it. Since it's so, like I said, it helps you break those boards and playing through the Ash Blossoms, right? And so I really like this going second against Sprite, the Mirror, and Cash especially is when it has its best utility. So yeah, this card was for sure something I'll keep. I put it in on literally in the airport on the way here, and it worked out fantastic. So happy I did that. 1 Jinzo, never got to use it, but it's going to stay in there for the Labyrinth. Double Nib. This card worked wonders for me this weekend. Everybody played into it. Yeah, it was great. See, the thing is, people were like, oh, you should cut nib, you should cut nib, people should play around it. People didn't play around it. That's what people thought was going to happen. So like, oh, since people aren't going to have nib, I'm just going to play into nib, and I punished them for it. So it worked out well. This is for Sprite. I didn't really get to use it. I played one Sprite, but I didn't draw it. 3 Cyclone. This underperformed, but it's really good in theory, so I might just keep it. I didn't get a chance, but it's mainly for Birth and the Mirror, technically. The one Duster, I tried this in against Cash, because the thing is about Cash is that they always have their board in like a back row or two, right? And so when you Duster, you're going +2, +3, you're getting rid of their follow-up in Birth, and you're overall in a really good position if you're able to get Duster plus your combo. Triple Evenly. So I really liked Evenly. There was never a time when I was like, oh no, I don't have my battle phase when I resolved Evenly. Although there's also never a time when I was like, oh, I win because I resolved Evenly. I mainly used it, similar to what I was talking about with Imperm earlier, as a kind of a stepping stool to break their board and set up my own. Especially because I keep in Puppet going second against Cash, and so I was able to Evenly and then set up a Puppet combo. It's basically, game winning. So that's why I like it. It just it allows for you to it baits out what they have so that you can get to your engine. And then the barrier for crossout. I put in barrier once for crossout. And I cross-outed the barrier, so it was nice. Anyways, I'll just go to shoutouts now. Shoutouts to Studs, group chat, shoutouts to my team, Gamation, shoutouts to my brothers, Charlie and Ryan, shoutouts to my parents, and High for Life Games, shoutouts to Kyle and Don, and my boy over here, Mike.
All right. Well, congrats again, John, on getting your top 64, and we are proud of you. No matter what, thank you again for our profile. If you guys enjoyed, please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the next video.